can't believe how well this thing shreds in the snow. I didn't expect it to work. I thought it was just gonna stop in one spot and that's it. But now we're gonna have so much fun this winter. The dude who sold me this actually gave me a different engine too. This is like a 2 horsepower, like 49cc engine. He did drop off this one. I don't know anything about this one and I don't know if it runs. Whatever a power sport is. 6 horsepower though. That's like almost triple the horsepower of that thing. Tokyo did say he wanted a cooler cart of his own, and this might be the beginning of it if this thing runs. Who knows if it runs? Doesn't smell like there's gas in it. We just run everything on C16 around here. I don't know what these wires are for, but not connecting them right now. Smells like 30 thou ring gap. Well, I'm the king at knowing nothing about engines, so that didn't run. I tried to avoid working on this thing until we got the trigger wheel made, but y'all won't let it go, so I guess we gotta work on it today. I got some chains here, I got some sprockets, I even got some little idler sprockets, hopefully to get the slack out of the chains. I got some hubs, all kinds of things. So I guess we'll temporarily put our cover back on, get this thing back down on the ground, and try and put some chains in it. And here's the biggest issue we're having with the timing. Right here on the flywheel is the original, whatever it uses to control the ignition timing. And that is picked up by this sensor right here. The problem is you need some sort of tooth in order to advance and retard the ignition timing because it has to know where it is on the crank position sensor. So what we did was we made up this wheel. It is a 32-1 tooth, fits over top of this, and it fits over top of this like this. And then we're gonna have to drill this case right here and put some sort of crank sensor in it and get rid of this. And we're gonna have to clearance a little bit just to make it fit. This is our custom solution to this. The thing is you can't use a plastic ring gear, so I had to get this laser cut out of metal, which is gonna take a little bit. And that's why I haven't progressed any on this thing, because we're trying to innovate something brand new for something like this. And I just don't have the resources to do it by myself. Anyways, let's open this thing up and see if this chain actually fits the factory sprocket. And just like that, not even 2 minutes into the video, we made our first oopsie boo-boo. All my research I did, although very limited, told me that this was a 420 sprocket, so I ordered all the other sprockets to be 420 sprockets, and you know what? Not a 420 sprocket. That's okay though, I think we can pull this off and probably get a 420 sprocket that is gonna fit this thing, so I'm just gonna pull this off and measure it and see if we can get one that matches it. That nut isn't even tight. I don't know if it's supposed to be tight or not, but it's not. I don't know if this was supposed to be tight or not, but it is, it's not tight. It's probably not supposed to be tight, to be honest. It's probably just supposed to float on there because there's no like bearing or anything on this. Well, typical me, I'm a bonehead. It's a 520 front sprocket, but I think my issue I had last time I tried to use the engine was that this is a 530 rear sprocket, and I couldn't get the 520 chain to fit on that sprocket, which is why I thought it was too, like, the wrong side. I'm not good at sprockets and chains, man. Man, this rig is so weird. This is 8AN. Doesn't fit on there. This is 6AN. That doesn't fit on there. What an odd size that is. Is there such thing as 7AN? Who knows? You know what? That's too many fails to start the day. Let's see if we can adapt these stupid throttle bodies to our intake down here. Right like these. Well, that's a little different. I think these two go to 2 valves and this goes to 1 valve. So 1 valve on this side and 2 valves on this side, and they all go to the same cylinder? Weird. To be completely honest, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I made this plate, it kind of matches this thing. We just got to drill some holes in it for the butterflies. And then I made this thing, which is kind of this one as well. This one goes on the engine, and then this one goes to the throttle bodies. And everything that I read with a single cylinder turbo engine, you kind of want to have a big plenum in it, because when you whack the throttle, it needs to suck down that air before the turbo gets ready. So this one's going to go on the engine side like this, and this one's going to go on the other side. And so hopefully some tubes and some transition work, and honestly, I'm just winging it. So what I did was I just spray painted on the inside of this, just kind of transfers roughly where we need to be with this thing. And this side's gonna be the side that's gonna have to be tapered because we're gonna have to weld pipe like this to this side, as you can see. So here's our starting plate. It fits on there like so, and then this one's gonna fit somewhere there-ish, and we just gotta transition from that to that. Maybe even shorter. Something like that. I'm gonna cut these holes out next, and then we'll build our plate pieces. Well, I feel like we were pretty damn close with our holes there, huh? How about that? Except for this one at the bottom, you can tell that it's a little bit bigger than this hole because it didn't quite fit, so I just made it a bigger size. Now the goal is to join this to this somehow. That's, I didn't really think this one through, did I? Because we gotta use pipe, and it's a bit of an angle, and then another angle. Oh boy. Okay, I'll figure it out. What I'll do maybe is I'll just offset this one pipe over here, and then this pipe right here, I'll actually just make a straight shot, so then all I have to do is cut this angle, and then this pipe should just weld right in. Good idea. So I ended up squishing our tube a little bit, cutting it at an 18-degree angle. That's gonna fit on there like that. We're just gonna try and port match this a little bit so it transitions from the inside of this pipe smoothly into the piece that it needs to be on this side. So we're gonna use a Dremel, some WD, and see if, make that a bit smoother transition. Now this is gonna be the tricky bit, trying to weld this really thin piece of pipe to this really thick piece of plate and get the heat to transfer over to it. You don't really wanna mess this up because I spent a lot of time on this plate, but gotta weld it somehow. I guess that wasn't so bad. I had to lay it on thick because you're really trying to heat up the bottom piece and then kind of blend it in to the top piece. And then that's our transition on the inside. You can see it ended up pretty smooth at the top. Well, here's kind of what it's gonna look like. We do have to make that second tube from here to here still, but that's the angle it should fit under our piece. Our fuel rail is right there. We're gonna have to build some tubes to come down from here along the side of the engine somewhere. If we put an intercooler in it down there and then run the pipe up, so I don't know. I didn't plan that far ahead. But yeah, we got to there. Small victories, man. Stay strong, homies. It's NNN, no November. Hope you guys are still winning. I don't be winning. I ended up using a smaller piece of tube for the second one. It doesn't quite fit in there. I'm hoping I can fill that gap and then just kind of clean the transition up from this side after this is welded. Well, we got to weld a little bit-ish here. This one I did blow a little bit of a hole in it, so I had to take my time, do a lot of filler work with it, and now the inside looks a little bit like bird turd, but nothing a little bit of a Dremel can't fix. Back to the Dremel one more time to see if we can give all these ports a nice little smoothing transition glove touch and see where our intake manifold goes. That's what essentially this is. It definitely didn't clean up like I anticipated it to on this one, so what I'm going to try and do is run a bead of aluminum weld on the inside here, hopefully fill it up, and then be able to transition it back in. This one cleaned up okay. Like the transition's pretty smooth in that one. And this one, not so much. Well, at least we have something to work with there now. It's I was burning WD-40, so it didn't weld very good. Joke's on me, I know. Put WD-40 on it, then try and weld it. Probably high as heck right now, I don't even note it. Note it? Note it. Anyways, I probably warped this thing all to shit. You can see I put it on the thing and I tried to sand it down, but we're gonna take quite a bit off this to make it flat, quite a bit off the other side to make it flat, Dremel this side out, clean it out, it's done. And this is kind of our finished product. I couldn't get it super flat because the belt on our belt sanders wore out, and I thought I had more around here, but apparently I do not. So I didn't get it super flat yet, but this is our manifold. Kind of, I've done a lot worse. And once I smooth that down flat, and then I can go in with the barrel again and smooth it down a little bit more, but simple, easy. The most complicated single cylinder intake manifold ever built by a Canadian in the middle of winter in my garage. And that's what it looks like all finished up. Look at it. It looks pretty decent. It looks pretty cool. Definitely not something I anticipated making like that, but it is what it is. I guess the next step is to get from both of these throttle bodies to the turbo down there. So we should make another piece of plate here, cut out some more holes, and then try and join this up to two pieces to make it into a single piece so we can come from the turbo. All right, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take this piece of pipe, try and cut it down the middle, and then use the two 90-degree angles to somehow make a Y, so then we can go to a 2-inch pipe after this. I'm gonna cut this and then we'll mock it up somehow. And this is how we cut U-bends. They don't fit in the bandsaw. So that's kind of what we got here. Once we tack weld it onto this plate and then tack weld the two pieces of pipe together, we can go ahead and finish welding it, and then wherever 2 inches diameter is in this piece of pipe, that's where we're gonna have to cut it and then weld a piece of 2-inch pipe to this piece of pipe. And that'll be our transition.
Start it up.
Alrighty, folks. Ooh, look at that. Ooh. Alrighty. We got it welded up all the way to our point right here. I don't have any 2-inch pipe here, so this is as far as I can take it right now. The other 2-inch pipe's at the other garage. I'll be stealing all that pipe from that A-turbo build at one time. And you can tell this is kind of like not the best welding. Like I said, it's really hard to keep heat into the bottom, and then once you start filling with a bunch of filler metal, you like hit the tungsten sometimes, it makes a little spot. It's not fun. This came out a little bit better, but I'm gonna cut that off there. This is gonna get transitioned to 2-inch, and then 2-inch from here to the turbo. It kind of looks like this one's gonna get a bit more priority, and that's actually the smaller runner, but once it's under boost, who cares? I'm gonna let that cool down a little tiny bit, and then we're gonna bolt it onto our throttle bodies and see where we ended up. Good job, Kyle. You did a good thing today, Kyle. You put in some work. There we go, that looks perfect. And then when we cut it off right here, we can put our 90-degree inch 2-inch pipe right there, come up over this, and then down into here somewhere. And it should be pretty straightforward for the rest of the charge piping. I did put the exhaust back on to see where we could build around, and then I have to keep in mind that when we put the piece on here too, it can't hit that cover piece that goes over it. But that doesn't look bad for a little intake that we built out of some scrap stuff that we had lying around the garage here. So this is the most expensive piece. This piece was probably $200 or so, but I couldn't find a single throttle body with a single injector in it, or else I would have adapted this to just Y into one piece into a single throttle body. It would have been much easier, but we are of course gonna have to make our own gaskets and surface these so they're all flat and they all seal. This one does have O-rings on one side of the throttle bodies, but not the other. Pretty straightforward, man. I love it. If there's anything else you would like to see done to this lawnmower, let me know, or any changes you would like to see made. I am going to order some chain and possibly just run that straight. Like I said, we are waiting on our trigger wheel to complete the build. And that's what it is. So make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Peace easy. Get that V. See you soon.